In this example, we want to talk about factoring a quadratic equation completely. So before I even start factoring, I'm going to take a look at the constants I have in this equation, or in this expression. I have 2, 22, and 60. And what I notice is that all of them have a common factor of 2. So before I start the process of factoring using the diamonds and the generic rectangles, I actually want to factor out a 2 from each of my terms. And the way to do that is I'm going to divide each term. So 2k squared divided by 2 gives me k squared. And 22k divided by 2 gives me 11k. And 60 divided by 2 gives me 30. And now I'm ready to go through, and I'm going to factor this part of my quadratic expression. I'm not going to worry about the 2, but I am going to keep it in the expression. So here we go. I'm looking at k squared plus 11k plus 30. Remember, I'm going to multiply the first k squared times the last term, 30, and that's going to help me with my diamond problem. It should multiply to 30k squared and add up to 11k. So I'm going to go through those factors of 30 and see if I can find anything that adds up to 11 but multiplies to 30. So I've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. Nothing works for 4, but I do have 5 and 6. And notice 5 plus 6 does equal 11. So one of these terms is 5k, one of the terms is 6k. Now I'm ready to come over here, make my rectangle, and start factoring. So let me erase that part. Okay, so in the bottom left I'm going to put k squared. Diagonal from that I'm going to put 30. And then in the other two squares, I'm going to put a factor of 5k and one of 6k. And now I'm going to factor and find the greatest common factor between the rows and the columns. So I'll start with, why don't we do 5k and k squared. So the greatest common factor with 5k and k squared is k. Then I'll go to 30 and 6k. The greatest common factor between 30 and 6k would be 6. And then we'll do k squared and 6k. The greatest common factor between those are k again. And finally, we'll do 5k and 30. The greatest common factor between 5k and 30 is 5. Okay, so let me erase my diamond, give me a little bit more room. When I end up factoring this, and just make sure you check and make sure that this works. So k times k gives me k squared. 5 times k gives me 5k. K times 6 gives me 6k, and 5 times 6 does give me 30. So this ends up being a factor, this ends up being a factor, and of course I have the 2 out front already. So my answer here when I factor is 2 times k plus 5 times k plus 6.